What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. The Jacksonville Jaguars are the team that we're going to be talking about today, and we're going to talk about their last season, their off season up to this point, and how I think they're going to do in this next upcoming season. So the Jags, they started out 8-3 and were looking like one of the best teams in the NFL, and they actually had the first round bye for a brief period of time. But they were unable to even make the playoffs. They only won one game, and they finished the season 9-8, and they didn't win the division or get a wild card spot or anything like that. And a big reason why they were unable to make the playoffs was because Trevor Lawrence had some inconsistent play when he was on, playing quarterback. And he also got injured at the tail end of the season. So definitely not ideal that he got injured in a game, and they still wanted him to play because, I guess he just wanted to push through his injuries, which I can respect that. But, when a quarterback is injured to the extent that he was, it really fucks with all your mechanics and stuff. So it would make sense that he struggles. But the thing about it is this isn't the first season he's had consistency issues with. He's had consistency issues pretty much all throughout his career. His first season was pretty much all bad, and he showed minimal flashes, and which that season was a little more understandable because he was a rookie and he had a horrible head coach. So I think most people would give him a pass for that. His second season, he started off really badly, or not really badly, but, underwhelming. And then the second half of that season, he was able to, really turn up his game and get the Jags to the playoffs. And that's kind of the exact opposite of what they did this season, because the first half of this last season, he started off playing really well. And then at the end, he was, having some consistency issues. And I know I said that he got injured, but even before he got injured, there were a few games before that where I could just tell he wasn't really playing up to his full potential like he was at the start of the year. So that's a concern that I have with him. They actually were able to sign Gabe Davis as a wide receiver, and they lost Calvin Ridley, as I'm sure most of you know, and they replaced him with Gabe Davis. And they also drafted Brian Thomas Jr. with their first round pick. So hopefully those will help with his consistency because, well, they did give him a extremely big contract to make him the third highest paid quarterback in NFL history, only behind Joe Burrow and Jordan Love. And the NFL quarterback market is insane. So it looks bad, but I understand why they did it. You have a guy that you invested a first overall pick in. You got to pay him. So I get why they did it. I would have probably done the same thing if I was an NFL franchise, because it's either you pay him now, you pay him slightly less now, or you let him walk, or you have to pay him later, but you have to pay him more because the market's only going to go up from here. So I think that's the best decision they could have made was the one that they made. So I get why they did it. And I think he will eventually get over his consistency issues because, he's having the same head coach. This is the third year in a row he's having Doug Peterson as his head coach. I think that's going to help him a lot. And, he did get injured. That doesn't help. And his second season was his first season with Doug Peterson. So, it might have taken him a few games to, get accustomed to his, his play calling and stuff. So that could explain why he was bad that season, or bad for the first half of that season. But, I think he'll be solid. Maybe not, that good because of how insane the contract market is. But I think the Jags made a good decision paying Trevor Lawrence, just because they just did what they had to do. And they also They brought in Mac Jones to be the backup quarterback. So if by some catastrophically horrible situation where Trevor Lawrence has a season-ending injury or plays really poorly, they do have a solid backup who could be argued to still have potential. I mean, he's not, that good of a quarterback because he got, released from the Patriots for a reason. But, I mean, if he were to start, this would be a more favorable situation for him, like way more favorable. And let's see, they also signed Josh Allen, the pass rusher, not the quarterback, to an extension, and he's an anchor on that defense, so he's an important player for them. They also brought in Eric Armstead on the defensive side of the ball as well to help bolster their defense. And I actually do think their defense is pretty solid. I think their cornerbacks and safeties are a little iffy, but their front seven's good. And if your front seven's good, then it can make up for an iffy secondary. And I think that they'll do okay next season. I don't think they're going to win the AFC South or anything like that, just because I think it's going to be the Texans and then Colts or Jags. That could be interchangeable. And I did a video on the Colts, and I was kind of talking about this as well, because you either take your pick, because I feel like with the Jags, you have an inconsistent quarterback with experience, and with the Colts, you have an injury-prone quarterback that is like extremely injury-prone. So they both have their issues at QB, and I do think they both have solid teams, and they both have really solid head coaches in my opinion. One's a Super Bowl winner, and one is he had a really good first season last season with as a head coach. But it's really unfortunate for the Jags that the Texans emerged as quickly as they did, because, that's not how it usually works. I mean, the reason they even were able to do that was because of, unbelievable circumstance, because the Texans managed to get 3 first-round picks from a team because they traded Deshaun Watson to the Browns. The Browns somehow gave all of that up for him, and that was able to really help them boost their rebuild. And they're not the only team to do that, too. The Lions did it, too, because they traded Matthew Stafford and got 2 first-round picks, and that's a big reason why they are up there with the elite of elite teams, because they were able to, kickstart the rebuild quicker than most teams would, because most teams don't get that opportunity. So it's kind of unfortunate that a team in their division had a lucky circumstance like that happen. But I still do think they could make the playoffs. I'm not going to say they will. I'm not going to pencil them in as a guaranteed playoff contender, because I do think they would have to fight for a wild card. And fighting for a wild card in the AFC it's hell. Like, trying to do that is got to be one of the most impossible things known to man. Just because every team, well, most of the teams in the AFC, they are really good. I mean, I'm not just talking about like the Chiefs, Bengals, Ravens, Bills, Texans. I'm not just talking about those guys. Like, even you've got other teams like the Dolphins could still be really good. The Jets could be good this year. You've got, I said the Ravens and Bengals, but the Steelers and Browns could also be good. And then you've got in the AFC West, besides the Chiefs, the Chargers could be good because of Jim Harbaugh. The Raiders have a lot of talent besides quarterback. They could also be good. And then I mentioned the Colts too. They could also be really good. If I left your favorite team off and they're playing the AFC, I mean, don't take it personal. It just means that those teams are probably the teams that you're usually not going to think of when you think of who's going to fight for playoff spots. But yeah, I mean, it's not because they're, a bad team. They're not. It's just the unfortunate circumstance being in the same division as the Texans and also being in the AFC. But I mean, overall, this team is going in the right direction. They had the first overall pick 2 years in a row for a reason. And, they were able to get their shit together, and now they're a playoff contender. I mean, they went from, I think it was 3-14 to 9-8, and they won a playoff game as well. That was a season before last, so 2 seasons ago. And I mean, even last season, 8-3. I mean, it sucks that they weren't able to make the playoffs and they couldn't finish out the season strong. But I mean, that's just a glimpse of what is possible for this team moving forward. So, I mean, if you're trying to look at it optimistically, which, usually I don't do that on this channel, but this team does have a bright future. You've got a young quarterback, and he's going to be there for a while because they just gave him a contract. And that's going to boost his confidence as well because, he's going to know that the team believes in him and they're invested in him and they want him to be there. And unless he plays like complete dog shit, I think this will be a very solid contract for him and the team. Obviously it'll be a good contract for him. He's basically set for life. Him and his family are set for life, but it's really more, will the Jags like the contract? And I do believe they will, just because young quarterback, and I didn't mention this yet, but I haven't seen, quarterbacks on the Jags play as well as Trevor has. The closest resemblance is Gardner Minshew II, because he, had kind of a Linsanity run on that team, but he wasn't even really that good. He was just a solid player. And having a solid player at QB at the time for the Jags was kind of a foreign concept because I never really saw it before. But Trevor's a whole different story because he makes certain throws and certain plays where it's like, you just look at it and you're like, damn, this guy has a lot of potential. And obviously he does. He was taken with the first overall pick. Any guy taken that high is going to be, a project, but also if the project works out for them, like they are going to be, one of the best players in the NFL. Now, I don't know if he's going to be like one of the best QBs, like a top 3 or 5 QB, but that's really less about him and more about, other QBs around the league. I don't think he's going to be better than like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Joe Burrow. Lamar Jackson is one of them. CJ Stroud, that's like a maybe. He might be better than him at some point. But, we just have to wait and see. And there's other guys, and CJ Stroud is better than Trevor at this point, obviously. And, I don't even think he's a top 10 QB right now. But, as NFL fans will tell you, anything can happen. And things change every single year. So maybe next season he'll be in my top 10. It just depends how he plays. So that's how I see the Jags doing this year and what I think about their season off season. And I guess we'll shift our focus to this game we're playing right here. Unlike the positivity I've used talking about the Jags, this game has been anything but, because right now we're down 39-7 and we basically already lost, but we're here playing the game. We might as well talk positively like we have been for the Jags. We're down by, I believe, 32 points, so it's technically a 4-score game. First down and 10, Trevor Lawrence back to pass, and he gets hit, and the ball drops to the ground, and it'll be incomplete. Second down and 10 at the 25. Trevor's going to roll out to the left, but there's a guy right there. He stood no chance on that play. Third down and 18 at the 17-yard line. Trevor back to pass. They just have to hope for a miracle or so, and that's incomplete. Miracle wasn't picked there. And basically, if we don't get this game's over. It kind of already is, but it would officially be penciled in as over. 4th and 18, we do get it. So this video will continue to be somewhat interesting. 1st and 10 at the 50-yard line. Trevor Lawrence back to pass, rolling out to the right. Going to throw passes caught by Etienne. And he will get out of bounds to make it 1st down and 10 at the 35. We just have to get a touchdown here and hope for a miracle. 1st and 10. Whoa, that was a bad throw. 2nd down and 10 at the 35-yard line. Trevor back pass going to throw, and that's incomplete. Ran right into a Raven right there. And unlike real life, Ravens will kill Jags if one is on them in football. 3rd and 10, pass is caught by Christian Kirk. 1st down and 10 at the 19-yard line. Jags are moving down the field, trying to piece something together. 1st and 10, Trevor rolling out to the left. He's going to throw. Oh my gosh, yeah, he's not making good decisions in this game. There were like 4 Ravens there or something. 2nd and 10, Trevor back pass going to throw. Pass is caught by Evan Ingram in the end zone. Able to use that speed to get himself open. And they have to go for 2 here. We'll see if they get it. Trevor's going to throw. Pass is caught, but he is tackled immediately. And it will be a 26-point game. And Jags will attempt the onside kick. Brandon McManus is going to kick it, and it bounces off a Jag and goes into a Ravens' hands. So the Ravens have the ball. They can basically run the ball here and chew clock. We'll see what they do here. And they will hand it off. They'll do fake a handoff. He's going to throw. Pass could have been picked off, but it's knocked down. I mean, not really going to impact the game very much, but I would have liked them to try and pick the ball off, considering, you still technically, you have to try. I mean, you're in the NFL for a reason. Although 3rd and 19, we are able to stop Lamar there for only a 4-yard gain after the sack. 4th and 15, he does the same thing again. Maybe he just feels bad and he's trying to make this competitive. 1st and 10 at the 36, Trevor Lawrence back to pass as the Jags get the ball back after a quick 4-and-out. Pass is caught by Etienne, and the clock is running. They have to run hurry up. 2nd down and 4 at the 42. Trevor Lawrence back to pass. All kinds of time. Ravens are only rushing 3. He's going to roll out to the right. He's going to take this himself. Needs to get out of bounds, and he does. He gets forced out of bounds. 1st and 10 at the 35. Trevor Lawrence back to pass again, and he's going to throw wide open as Travis Etienne. Ravens made a big mistake there. Touchdown here, and I would assume most people have kind of left the video already, assuming the game's over, but never say never. Well, maybe say never now, because we don't recover that onside kick. Down by 19, and yeah, nothing else happened in this game. Ravens win 39-20. We threw a couple of picks, 4 picks in this game. Took 2 safeties. This was just a mistake-riddled game. But that doesn't change my opinion on the Jags. It's really just me kind of being stupid because I'm not very good at Madden. And I honestly don't really care if I'm good at Madden. I just care more about, posting YouTube videos, talking about NFL, But that's all I got for this video. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it to the end. And I will see you next time for my next video.